Hi, Nynekats here. I'm going to make some, I'm going to call them swamp lanterns. I know a lot of people have done tutorials on this, but I thought I would anyway. Most people call them witch jars, inspired by pumpkinrot. If you're not familiar with pumpkinrot, check out his YouTube channel. An amazingly talented haunter. Anyway, what we're going to need for these are glass jars. I have 6. You want them to be rather large because you're going to be putting a candle in the bottom. You're going to need paint. I was hell-bent on using the paint that I had, so I have some kind of olivey green paint. I've got some blue spray paint. I've got some kind of electric green spray paint. And since this is going to be sort of swampy, those colors will make sense. And I have some black latex paint as well. You're going to need wire to make handles for your jars, some jute twine that you can wrap around the tops of the jars. You're going to need creepy cloth. That'll make more sense later. Some Elmer's glue to apply the creepy cloth. And miscellaneous things, you know, old paintbrush, some bowls to put paint in, a sponge to put paint on, stuff to cut and work your wire with. Look at these awesome pliers. These were my grandfather's. I cherished them dearly. Anyway, and then at the end, of course, you're going to need tea lights or votives to put in your jars. So we'll get started with the next step. So the first thing we're going to do is put a wire handle on our jar. I've already cut a piece of wire to length to go around the mouth of the jar, and then we're going to put this length of wire, see how that's going to fit around here, just like that. And then we'll use our pliers to secure this around the mouth of the jar. And of course, you want it to be tight, but careful not to do it too tight. Of course, you don't want to crack a glass jar I'm not sure if you could, but let's not try. So we're going to put that around there, just like that. Maybe bend in your points, because you don't want anyone to get poked with that. And then of course up here, you just want to wrap this around like so. Let's see what I'm doing even. And on this side we'll do the same thing. We're just going to wrap this to hold it in place. And now your swamp lantern has a handle. So we'll move on to the next step shortly. So the next thing we're going to do is wrap jute twine around the mouth of the jar. I've already cut a piece. I'm just going to tie it here to make it a little easier to get started. I didn't want to use hot glue because, you know, I just have an aversion to hot glue. So we're going to tie it like that, and then we're just going to turn our jar and wrap this around the mouth of the jar. And this really is just to add character. You know, it's not doing anything to help hold the wire handle on per se. It's really just to give an extra layer of texture and dimension to your jar. So we'll continue wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. I don't know how many times this is going around. It doesn't really matter. This is old jute. You know, it even has knots in it, but that's okay. This gives it more character. So I'll keep wrapping. Just be careful not to interfere with your wire handle, because you want it to be able to stand upright when you get done. So that's going to be the last wrap, and we will just tie these tightly in a knot so that it doesn't come loose. Just like that. And you can leave your ends hanging, you know, asymmetrical, something like that. And so now we're at this stage. Next step in a jiffy. So our next step is going to be to apply some paint to the bottom of the jar. I have some old olive green colored paint that we used on some furniture years ago. Basically, you just want to put a little out in the bottom of a bowl. You don't want your brush to be super saturated, kind of, you know, dry. And we're just going to move our handle out of the way and put our brush down, and we're just going to sort of tap all around the bottom of the jar. And at this point, I just want this green color to be pretty much just at the bottom of my swamp lanterns. I want it to just kind of look moldy and old down there. So once we have the bottoms painted, they're going to look about like that, and we'll move on to the next step. So we're outside now. The next thing we're going to do is shoot the inside with a little bit of spray paint, just because it's what I had. I'm going to start with this electric green color. I have no idea what this is going to look like. I just kind of want to mist the inside of the glass to give it sort of a more opaque look. So we'll try it and see what it looks like. I'm basically just spraying straight down into the bottom of the jar, and I like that. It looks pretty cool. It's you know, very speckled, but the light from the candle will still show through. I'm going to back that with some dark blue just to give it some more depth and dimension. Hopefully this spray paint will work. It's really old. It's just what I had lying around, so we'll see. Ooh. I didn't mean to hit the side of the glass that make it that blue, but it's okay. It'll be fine. This is all an experiment. So basically, that's what we have now. So the next step is to add some soot around the top of our jar, because that's what would naturally happen with a long burning candle. We're going to start with some black paint in a bowl. This is a styrofoam bowl, as you can see. I don't know how this got in my house. Styrofoam is the scourge of the earth. Please don't buy styrofoam. So we're just going to kind of wet the corner of our sponge. We'll move the handle out of the way, and we're just going to go around the inside top of the jar, and we're just trying to make it look a little sooty. Probably need to add more than that. Get some more on the sponge here. And keep going around. You don't want it to be like solid paint, but you want it to be, you want it to look like soot from a candle. dark there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Of course, it's going to be in the dark on Halloween night, so that's sort of the look that you're going for, the city candle top. And then we will move on to the next step. So now we're at the last stage of our project. Basically, we're going to take a square of creepy cloth and we are going to dip that into some glue. This is Elmer's Gooey Goo Gel. Gooey glue gel. It's just what I happen to have on hand. I wanted to try to use everything that I had on hand. Basically, I just put some water in it and kind of thinned it down a little bit. We're going to dip our creepy cloth into this and then lay it over the outside of the jar. So you want to take your jar, get your handle back out of the way, and we're going to turn this upside down like so. I'm probably getting paint on my table and probably some glue too, but it doesn't really matter because my table's glass, so it's very easy to clean. If you have a work surface that's not easy to clean, like a wooden workbench or something, you may want to put something down to protect it. So we're just sort of getting our creepy cloth coated with the Elmer's here. I'm just using my paint stick to do that. Hopefully I'll be able to pull this back into some sort of shape. I'm gonna pull the extra glue out of this. Just like that.
Sorry.
My partner's grossed out by this. She doesn't like it. So here's our creepy cloth. Still trying. There we go. Now we've got it pretty much back out to the shape that it was before I dipped it. And we're just going to lay this over the jar and just sort of mash it on there. I have some pieces, like here's a piece over here that's a little thick. It's like balled up. I'll probably just trim that off. But basically we're just trying to add a layer of texture to our jar. Let me wipe my hands off here and I'll show you what I was talking about. We're just going to trim this off. I don't want to deal with that piece. So we'll trim it off. I'm going to also take a sponge and just kind of push this on here. It's actually good to get some glue where you don't have creepy cloth, because that's going to add an opaque look to your jar, which will make it look older, and older is creepier.
Does it matter that your sponge was wet beforehand?
I don't know that it matters. I just wet it so that it wouldn't soak up all the glue that I'm trying to use here. I'm just going to trim off some of these heavier pieces again, just to get them out of the way. And we'll keep going with what we're doing. So that's basically the look that you're going for. It covers up a little bit of the paint that you put on the inside, but of course the candle will be lighting this from the inside, so you'll still see the color come through the glass. but that's the look that you're going for. And as soon as your paint is dry and your Elmer's glue on the creepy cloth is dry, then you're done. You're ready to flip it back over, put a candle inside, and enjoy your swamp lantern. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know, whatever. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.